Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your severe weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. We're going to start out this morning with the water vapor satellite picture because I think this really shows exactly how this pattern is setting up over the next few days. We currently have a high pressure system over the Northern Mid-Atlantic and over parts of the eastern Great Lakes, a stationary boundary cutting through the southern Mid-Atlantic to the Ohio Valley, and then another high-pressure system with a huge ridge developing over the plains, the Tennessee River Valley, and the southeast. Now, the separation between this frontal boundary is the difference between hot and humid air and very hot and humid air. For example, over the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area for this afternoon, high pressure will produce generally clear skies, a chance for an isolated thunderstorm maybe with the sea breeze front, but overall dry conditions and temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s and dew points in the 70s. Not exactly comfortable, but clearly not as bad as, say, mid to upper 90s, close to 100, dew points in the upper 70s, and a heat index around 115. Unfortunately, this stationary front is going to disintegrate, and the high pressure system over the Tennessee River Valley will become the dominant high pressure system, move towards the Virginia and North Carolina coast, and drive in one heck of a hot and humid air mass into the northern mid-Atlantic. So what can we expect? Well, for this afternoon, it's still going to be hot and humid, but not as hot and humid as what we're going to be experiencing for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. By Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the high pressure system will be clearly off the mid-Atlantic coast, and temperatures as a result will be able to scorch into the mid-90s along the coast to around 100 degrees, let's say 101, 102, in locations like Newark, Philadelphia, the Delaware River Valley. Basically, if you're just away from the coast, temperatures are going to be extremely hot. And with the humidity remaining relatively high with dew points in the mid to upper 70s. Unfortunately, that's going to put a heat index well over 100 degrees, so very dangerous conditions can be expected for tomorrow afternoon, Friday afternoon, and Saturday afternoon. So if you have any outdoor activities, I really suggest you stay indoors or at least take frequent breaks with plenty of water. Try to stay cool because this is a dangerous situation. Meanwhile, off the coast, we have Tropical Storm Brett. Brett's going to move into the Atlantic and not pose much of a problem. We're also keeping an eye on a disturbance out in the Atlantic that could become a subtropical low pressure system, but that too will also remain over the Atlantic and not have any impacts. So when will this really hot and humid air mass start to break? Well, let's take a look at the European model guidance. Once again, this European model guidance is provided by the Penn State eWall website, an excellent website for model data. And this is for Saturday afternoon and evening. Now, Saturday afternoon is going to remain very hot with temperatures in the mid to upper 90s and high humidity. But one big change is that there will be an approaching cold front. Kind of. You see, at 500 millibars, there will be a trough that will move through parts of New England. Notice how the majority of the lifting is focused mostly over Maine and much of eastern Canada. So really there isn't much of a driving force behind this cold front. There is a change in the air mass. Instead of it being 99, it'll be more like 92 behind it. So yes, there is a drop behind this cold front, but not much of a significant change in the air mass aside from the fact that it won't be 99. It'll be 92. So what I'm expecting for Saturday is that there will be a threat for scattered showers and thunderstorms. I have some doubts on whether these thunderstorms will be severe because the mid-levels of the atmosphere will still remain very warm. So I'm really not expecting much of a lapse rate or difference in the air temperature from the surface to the mid-levels, which usually leads to weaker thunderstorms. So we're going to keep an eye on that on Saturday afternoon, and then this stationary front is going to stall over the northern mid-Atlantic for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. What that basically means is the type of setup we have now, where temperatures are in the upper 80s to mid-90s, dew points are in the upper 60s to lower 70s, so it's still hazy, hot, and humid, with a chance of an isolated to widely scattered shower or thunderstorm, but at least it's not 99 with a dew point of 78 and a heat index of 115. So yes, it does become slightly cooler, but clearly it's still a very hot and humid air mass. Do we see any break in this pattern? Well, unfortunately, no. Here's the European model guidance for next Friday, and well, it looks pretty similar to what we are developing now. This is basically what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. A huge ridge over the east, a weak trough over the west, another weak trough over the Canadian Maritimes. It's the same pattern repeating itself again and again. Unfortunately, until we see a significant change in the whole 500 millibar pattern, we're not going to be able to really break this cycle of hot and humid conditions to very hot and humid conditions. And unfortunately, it looks like for the end of next week, we're going to be going right back into the fire from the frying pan, with temperatures once again pushing into the 90s with high levels of humidity and a heat index over 100 degrees. So if you like the hot and humid weather conditions, you're going to love this weather pattern. If you don't, I suggest moving to Maine or the Canadian Maritimes, because that's pretty much the only place in North America that's actually cool. That and the North Pole, but who really wants to go to the North Pole? So basically, we're going to remain in this hot and humid weather pattern for some time until we see a major change in this pattern. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your severe weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. Should any severe thunderstorms develop, you can always trust in NYNJPA Weather on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and of course at nyNJPAweather.com to provide the latest details and forecast. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.